Did you know your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight to your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards. Visit Gemini.com/card today. Check out the link in the description for more information on rates and fees. Again, if you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.
This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM, Channel 158, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, the VSiN Watch app, any of our great affiliates, wherever you're watching or listening from today. We appreciate it. I'm coming to you live from downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Stormy Buonantony out west. Keith Irizarry holding it down for us on the East Coast. No JVT today. He's got one last day off before the NBA season tips off tomorrow, so he'll be locked and loaded with us tomorrow. But Keith, very happy to have you again, especially considering last Tuesday when you were on the show 4-1 with the best bet. So let's keep the good vibes rolling into today. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Yeah, we did well with the hockey plays, and I promise you, I know today's not really going to be much of a hockey show. We're not going to talk a lot of hockey today, but at the end of the program, I got I'll give you 3 hockey plays I like, and we'll try to hit the ice, not running, skating.
There you go. Yeah, it should be a fun day. We do have a lot to get to across the sports world today. Stick and puck will take a little bit of a backseat to everything else, but let's get into it and set the table like we always do on a Monday. Time for the rundown.
It's time for the top headlines and topics of the day. This is the rundown.
You've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times, Keith. The best 2 words in sports. Game 7 tonight in the ALCS. The Blue Jays beat the Mariners 6-2 last night, setting up a winner-take-all Game 7 tonight in Toronto. Vladdy Jr. went yard again yesterday in the win. He's got 6 now in 10 postseason games, but all of it is on the line tonight with a spot in the World Series.
It's what dreams are made of, and when you're a kid playing whatever the sport is, you dream of game-winning shot opportunities, game-winning bat opportunities, whatever it may be, in a win-or-go-home game. This is going to be fantastic. And Seattle, by the way, the whole area over there, it's going to be buzzing, huh?
No question, because in addition to the baseball that they have across the country, they've got a little Monday Night Football action today as well for the Seattle Seahawks. Greg Bell of the Tacoma News-Tribune is going to help us break down both the baseball and the football. And fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, the Mariners are 6-0 this season when they play on the same day as the Seahawks. Seattle today, a 3-point favorite against the Texans, total 41.5 in that one. And then the Bucks and Lions going head-to-head as well today, maybe the more marquee of the Monday Night Football doubleheader matchups. Lions, a 6 or so point favorite in the game, total 52.5, 53.5, depending on where you look. But we'll dive into both of those games at length today as well.
What was that stat you just gave about the Mariners and the Seahawks?
6-0 this season. Same game when they play on the same day as the Seahawks. Wow. Isn't that wild? Keep it rolling.
I missed that stat, so I guess I'm changing my mind and picking the Mariners today. Okay.
I think that you're going to need a little more background, so we'll get into all the angles in a bit. But let's start talking a little football here in general as we recap what was just a crazy day in the NFL yesterday. It started a little bit slow, and then we had what we're putting here on the title card is a giant collapse at Mile High. So the New York Giants, for anyone who missed it, up 19-0 entering the fourth quarter yesterday against the Broncos. It's 26-8 with 5:01 to play. The Broncos end up winning this thing, Keith, 33-32. Make it make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. So anybody that had been trailing by 18 or more points at this, juncture of the game, so I think it was 6 minutes or less, had only won twice and had lost 3,677 times. None of this makes any sense for the Giants to have lost the game. Now, when push comes to shove, I know that, New York fans don't want to believe in, moral victories, and typically people say, moral victories are gross. There is a sense of you walk away from this knowing I got my guy. And what I mean by that is Jackson Dart each and every week is proving that he is going to be the quarterback you can build around. It's a defense that should be, dominated through the first 3 quarters of this game and then just laid an egg in the fourth quarter. That happens. It's an offense that is without Malik Neighbors, and you have a rookie running back as well, and you have quote-unquote no-name tight ends, yet you're putting up 19 points right off the bat against this Denver Broncos defense that is vaunted and supposed to be one of the best in the NFL, and you still end up scoring more than 30. And you had a backup kicker who was the backup at Rutgers and comes in and is your kicker and misses a couple extra points.
Yeah.
It took all of the bad to happen for you to lose this game. This is one of those days, Stormy.
Yeah.
A moral victory kind of is okay.
The extra points loomed large in a 1-point finish, especially that final extra point at the end. And then, of course, Bo Nix, who was a no-show for 3 quarters, steps in and is awesome in the fourth quarter, leads the game-winning drive. Will Lutz hits their 39-yarder for the field goal, and it's game over for the Broncos, who, I mean, at least for them, when they had all of the alums back from that Super Bowl 50 team and they're recognizing Demaryius Thomas, probably good for them to get that win. And they're 5-2 now on the early season, looking like a contender, even though the underlying metrics haven't been great. So that AFC West division is going to be fascinating to dive into, as the Raiders, by the way, just absolutely put the works on the Chiefs put the works on the Las Vegas Raiders yesterday. Jackson Dart, though, to your point, 4 total touchdowns yesterday. He's now a -105 odds-on favorite in the Offensive Rookie of the Year market. He had this to say about the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, we play in 6 days, so you can't let one loss lead to another. You got to fix the things that you messed up on, and we got to finish games. And we have to be able to finish the game. So we have good leaders on the team. We have good players. We have to find ways to finish the game and bounce back.
And that is a good way to push it forward, Keith, because they do have a big division game in Philly coming up this week against an Eagles team that seemed to find their offense yesterday in their win.
Or as, and just quickly on Jackson Dart, and then we'll get to the Eagles as well, for as like braggadocious as he, like the swag that he has out there on the field. And I would imagine that if you're not in New York, if you're not a Giants fan, you might even think he like comes off like a punk, right? He's not. Jackson Dart is just energetic. He is a little bit flashy, and I think he is well beyond his like maturity level is really good. You hear it there in those sound bites. Now to flip it back to the Eagles. Yeah, hey, Jalen Hurts said, fly, Eagles, fly. I can throw a football. I know you all forgot about that, but I can throw a football. And Devontae Smith looked amazing. A.J. Brown looked amazing. Saquon is still, those, what are they? Is it Allstate? I don't remember what the insurance company is, the Stay Calm Barkley. Right now, he is Stay Calm Barkley. He's been okay. He looks like a dude that ran, 900,000 times last year and is getting his sea legs under him. Yeah. Also maybe slow playing a little bit. But the offense looked much better. It was nice to see Jalen Hurts wake up.
Yeah, and he and A.J. Brown, that connection that we were wondering, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, finally does. 121 yards for Brown, 2 touchdowns. Hurts went 3 for 3 for 108 in the 2 scores, targeting him on passes of 20-plus yards downfield. He was 2 of 8 on those such passes for just 68 yards to Brown so far coming into yesterday's game. So if that's something they can continue to dial up and connect on, it's a difference maker for the offense. So 28-22, the final for that one, holding off the late push against the Minnesota Vikings. And the way you talk about Saquon, he obviously was so utilized last year. Christian McCaffrey is so utilized in the San Francisco 49ers offense right now. He had another monster day yesterday on Sunday Night Football in the 20-10 win over the Falcons. More than 200 yards from scrimmage, 2 touchdowns for him. But I do wonder, and I hesitate a little bit about the usage and how many touches he's getting on a week-in, week-out basis, because we do know the injury history. And if you want him down the line, is this too much early on in the season? How do you see it?
I think that it'll change, and I think there's going to be peaks and valleys of this season. So I don't know if you got a chance to see the interview Trent Williams with SVP after the game last night. It was awesome. Trent Williams had a really cool hat on. They talked about that. I think it was Prada or Gucci or something to that effect. But SVP said, so I was told that you guys came in this week and were told that this was going to be a CMC week. How does that make you feel? And Trent Williams like, anytime I get to block for my guy, like I love it, whatever. So they knew going into this game, the way to attack the Falcons was going to be to use Christian McCaffrey in every facet. So I say that to say this. I don't believe that's the game plan every week. Ricky Pearsall will ultimately come back and be healthy. Brandon Ayuk is a couple of weeks away from coming back as well. Kittle looked like he was just trying to fit in, not necessarily do much yesterday. So it was a CMC day. I don't think that we'll continue to see this, so I'm not that worried.
I just feel like it's been a CMC day for 7 straight games to this point. But yes,
he's really good at football.
It's true. I do hope and expect, to your point, though, as they continue to get bodies healthier, that the game plan and game script will start to divvy up a bit. But while it's not, I mean, keep betting the over rushing and receiving yards combo, because every single week that seems to be hitting for CMC. Same thing with the anytime touchdowns. It's just a week after week thing for him. I know we do have to take our first break of the day here in a moment, and we can dive a little bit deeper into these injuries, but did want to make sure we got these out as well from a quarterback standpoint. Jaden Daniels, he did go down in the Commanders game yesterday. He's having an MRI on his right hamstring today, according to Ian Rappaport this morning, though. Doesn't appear to be serious. Still need to wait and see more confirmation on that. They play Monday Night Football against the Chiefs coming up next week, so extra time to get healthy, but also Chiefs team that's looking pretty darn good right now. And then Bryce Young injured his right ankle. Andy Dalton had to come in their win over the Jets. Another win for the Panthers, though, 13-6. Big for Bryce Young, who seemed to have been making some improvements, so hopefully he's okay as well. These injuries, as always, brought to you by Spot Odds. We appreciate their help on these injury updates, from professional sports bettors like Billy Walters to world-class bookmakers like the ones right here at Circus Sports, where I'm broadcasting from. Everyone who bets big or books big uses Spot Odds. It's a tool the pros trust. SpotOdds.com. Use our code VSIN, by the way, for a special discount right now. We will get into that and all of the injuries on Monday Night Football coming up tonight. We do have a doubleheader and a lot of names you need to be aware of before you place your wagers.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
Stormy Buonantony and Keith Irizarry back with you here on Money Moves. We are about to break down the 2 games we have coming up on Monday Night Football. Nice doubleheader. Texans and Seahawks are going to be in the nightcap. The Bucs-Lions, the first of the 2 games we have underway. But I did want to make sure, Keith, I checked in with you first. Anything else from everything we transpired Sunday? Because we tried to hit as many bases as we could off the top that we missed that you feel like is important to note here real quick.
We're going to talk Matthew Stafford later, so we can keep that a little bit aside. I think that it's worth noting that the New England Patriots are ahead of schedule right now, and they're pretty fun to watch. Like, I know I live in New York, right? And Stormy, you know this. I'm supposed to be like, I hate the Patriots. They're the worst, blah, blah, whatever. They're a fun team to watch. Vrabel's a really good coach. Drake May is one of the better stories for young QBs. While you see Jaden Daniels struggling through injuries and struggling a little bit this year, you saw C.J. Stroud in year number 2 struggle a little bit. You see Caleb Williams having some ups and downs. Drake May looks like the real deal, and the Patriots look like a team that should make a run to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think he had the hard year last season trying to figure it out with everything that was going the way that it was. But you bring in Vrabel, and he's clearly changed so much of the identity of this team. And a huge win for them yesterday for their head coach, I think, beating the Tennessee Titans, who now with 5 wins on the season have more wins than Brian Callahan did his entire tenure taking over for Vrabel with the Tennessee Titans. Drake May, by the way, yesterday set a Patriots single-season franchise record for completion percentage, 91% completions in that game. So there we go.
They've never had any other good QBs.
Oh no, yeah. I
never
mean,
had any
because
other
Tom
good
Brady definitely didn't work there at all. That said, let's get into some of the action that we do have coming up tonight on Monday Night Football. Starting with the Bucks and Lions. Lions about 6-point favorites, depending on where you look. I do see 6.5 still out there as well. Total, but it's been toggling between 52.5, 53.5. So a very high total game. As we look at the betting splits, 59% of the bets, but 92% of the handle here at Circa is on those Detroit Lions. 67% of the DraftKings handle also on Detroit. Total public is all over the over. Thinks we're going to get a high-scoring shootout. Game script-wise, how do you kind of see this one tonight?
I'd be fearful of taking the Lions with the points there. Baker Mayfield, and I say this as Baker Mayfield. I know they're a team. It's Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers. But I feel like Baker Mayfield doesn't know how to lose blowouts. Like if he loses, it's going to be by like a little bit, or he's going to come back and win a game. It's this weird thing that he's got this clutch gene, and whatever that is, he has it. I don't know. I'm not picking a side in this one. I'm really unsure as to how this plays out. The Lions have a lot of injuries in their secondary. The Buccaneers may or may not have some players come back. To me, this feels like a really difficult game to bet on. I don't know if Mike Evans is going to play. I don't know if Ibuka is going to play. My guess is we'll get one of them, not both of them. I believe that Kate Otten should be very important to this offense as, kind of the security blanket for Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield's going to be throwing the ball around a lot. I don't know what Rachaad White will be. I think he's going to have a good night. It's a lot of I thinks and I'm not sures. And some, from a betting standpoint, Stormy, that's not great, right? Like, it's harder to find an angle. But from a viewership standpoint, I like the I'm not sures and the ifs and the whats, because I get to just watch and maybe have a little theater in front of me.
One stat that has made the rounds a lot, or a streak or a trend, whatever you want to call it, the Detroit Lions 11-0 against the spread, coming off a straight-up loss. And, of course, last time we saw them on the football field, they lose in a pretty tough fashion to the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think that's at least one of the layers to the Lions, is that they have been so good under Dan Campbell in a bounce-back role, covering the spread, and more often than not, double-digit wins in that bounce-back role as well. But I love that you brought up the injuries here, because let's go through it. There is a laundry list for the Detroit Lions. So their starting left tackle, Taylor Decker, is questionable. DJ Reader, at D tackle, questionable as well. But the cluster injury situation you bring up with the Lions secondary is massive. Brian Branch, their starting safety, serving a suspension for this game. Their starting free safety, Kirby Joseph, out. Starting corner, Terrion Arnold, out. And that's on top of the other 6 defensive backs who are either out or on injured reserve already. So that is just a massive thing to keep into account here, taking on a Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense that is a very pass-heavy offense, despite having, to your point, limited options in the wide receiver room for Baker Mayfield. It hasn't really mattered who was out there for him, whether it was Tez and Cameron Johnson. He was still hitting guys. Kate Otten as well in the tight end room, to your earlier point. The official statuses of Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka, questionable with hamstrings, but ESPN's Adam Schefter said Evans is likely to play. And Egbuka, this situation's really weird, Keith, and I'm curious your opinion on it. And I know these soft tissue injuries can be weird, but the initial reports on Egbuka were that, hey, he's definitely going to miss this game, if not more. And then last week, he's already practicing on Saturday. And Schefter says he has a real chance to play today. Jay Glazer, also on the Fox pregame shows, yesterday said they're leaning toward him playing.
It's amazing how well your body can heal when you're, like 21 years old as opposed to older, things that just don't nag and stuff. Listen, if I were the Buccaneers, I'm not a general manager, I'm not the head coach, I'm no one in that organization. I don't think I would play him tonight. I feel like give him another week off. This is a Buccaneers team that, as constituted, when healthy, has a chance to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Like, they have a legit chance to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, and who knows what can happen from there. I'd probably sit him. With all of the stuff that we just laid out there, I think there are plays to be made from a player prop standpoint. So I would look at Baker Mayfield. I'm going to go over on his passing yardage. I got it at 240.5, minus 140, a little bit juicy. So I would do something small on that to have a little bit of something there. But then I would get a little bigger here and add something into a parlay. I know. Usually a sucker bet. Let's have some fun on a Monday night. So we're going to go Baker, 2 passing touchdowns. Going to go Baker, 240 or more passing yards. And then I'm going to add in Cade Otton to get 4 catches. The best number I could find, best value on DraftKings, I got it up to plus 214. Some people are going to turn around and say none of that is worth the squeeze. It's a Monday night. There's a couple of games. You may want to just get involved in different aspects. 2-to-1 odds isn't.
Passing yards prop
Flacco.
is a bet.
Yeah.
Oh, so you reconnect. You were gone. You were lost there for a moment. So finished.
Oh.
You were giving out your parlay. Cade Otton was one of the.
No.
Yeah, hit us back. Finish it.
Really quickly. Didn't know that I was dropped out there. So we're going to go Baker, 2 passing touchdowns. We're going to go Baker, 240 or more passing yards. We're going to go Cade Otton with 4 catches. Get you to plus 214 on DraftKings. Again, it's not the best bang for your buck, but it gets you involved in a few different aspects there. And of QBs that have faced off against the Lions, the only one over the last 4 games that hasn't thrown for over 250, Joe Flacco. They give up about 245 passing yards per game, the Lions.
Yep, and I'm with you on that. I know we're doing best bets at the end of the show like we always do, but I had 246.5. That was the best number I could find here in Vegas this morning when I played it, minus 110. But I am all over the Baker Mayfield pass yards. I think it makes too much sense. And Jared Goff's number was higher, so I stayed away from that. But I think that the pass yards should be there for Goff as well in this game. The Bucs, to your point, they are in first place in the NFC right now. They're an 8-to-1 shot for the conference, though, 5th on the board if you are interested. Let's go to the second game tonight. And I want to know, because I know that the Seahawks side of it, when we were opening the thing talking about the Mariners trend, you were like, oh, maybe I need to get off of this bet. But I thought you liked Seattle today. They're a 3-point favorite taking on the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I was joking a little bit, just trying to, have a little fun. No, I like Seattle to win this one. I like them to cover as well. If you can get it at 3, I love it there. The Seahawks have allowed the 6th least points per game. It's not the Legion of Boom anymore, but it is a really good defense. And the Texans, they've the 22nd in pass blocking win rate, 31st in run block win rate. If you believe in those numbers, and you should, it would mean the Seattle should again cause some havoc against the Texans. Give me the Seahawks to win and cover. Sneak in a quick player prop here as well. We're going to do something to get us into plus money. Jackson Smith and Jigba, it'd be minus money if you take us over of like 89.5, I think it is. So let's go to him to get 100 or more receiving yards on BetMGM. I got it at plus 130. It's something that he is kind of routinely doing. He's done it 4 times this year. He's done it in back-to-back games. And he also has a catch of 36 or more yards in all 6 games. So if you wanted to, you could look at his longest reception of 28.5 at minus 110.
Yeah, JSN and Sam Darnold have been dialed. In terms of the splits, interesting divide here at Circa tonight. 81% of the bets are on Seattle, but 71% of the money on Houston. DraftKings, it's all Seattle. Tells you the public side here. Most of the money also coming in on that under 41.5. And we'll hit on this game a little bit more later on, especially because still to come later on in the show as well, Greg Bell of the Tacoma News Tribune is going to join us, and we'll talk all things ALCS as well as Seattle Seahawks. We'll get to the baseball coming up next, but a reminder, the Sports Equinox is here. All 4 major leagues in action at the same time. You can celebrate the best time of year for bettors with the VSiN Sports Equinox special. Sign up now. You get full VSiN Pro access to everything we do through May 1st. Just $120. That's less than $20 a month. Go to vsin.com/subscribe today. That's vsin.com/subscribe.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If nothing else, at least we will have new blood in the World Series with whoever ends up winning the gotta have it winner take all Game 7 coming up tonight in Toronto. The Seattle Mariners and Blue Jays set to go head to head with a pennant win and spot in the World Series on the line. The Mariners, the only Major League Baseball team never to have reached the World Series in their franchise history. And the Blue Jays haven't been there since 1993, and especially since we got the Dodgers on the other side who are looking to repeat. I love that we're getting a little new blood in here. Stormy Buonantony, Keith Irizarry with you back on Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. And Keith, the Blue Jays sitting around a minus 130, minus 132 home favorite in this spot. The run total 7.5 in Game 7. This series has been a little bit weird. Seattle opens the series winning 2-0 on the road. Toronto ties it up in Seattle. Then we've traded 6-2 wins each of the last 2 games. How the heck do you see Game 7 shaking out tonight?
I think there will be pain. No, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think if you like runs to be scored in this one, I think you're going to be very happy. I have not been super impressed with some of the arms in this one. I know it's been very topsy-turvy. Like, you've had good pitching by one side in one game, and then all the bats blow up on the other side, and vice versa, and all that kind of stuff. George Kirby, Shane Bieber. Kirby was lackluster, to say the least, in his one outing in this series as well. I'm not sure what you get from Shane Bieber. I know that he was kind of a rock in Game 3, kind of turned things around for his Toronto Blue Jays. If I'm just going to give out a pick right away, I'm going to say I like the over in this game. There have been 8 or more runs scored in the last 5 games. You know, you go over trends and stuff. 22 home runs hit in this series. That's ridiculous. The Mariners have hit the over in well over 50% of the games that they've played this season. The Jays have hit the over in over 50% of, it's like the last 140 games that they've been a part of this season. Like, all the streaks and trends would tell you that the over will hit here. I will pose this to you. So, Stormy, you got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He is right now the best hitter in the world. I mean, just dominating. It seems like if you put the ball anywhere near the plate, it's either going out or getting hit pretty hard. If you're the Mariners, do you pitch to Vladdy, or you're pitching around him the whole night? What are you doing, Stormy?
I mean, I would pitch around him. He's got 6 home runs in 10 postseason games to this point. Every time you need him to do something, he steps up and delivers. That said, I mean, are you interested in total bases? Are you like, how are you approaching this with Vladdy tonight? Because he keeps on being able to find ways.
Yeah, I'm scared, right? Like, so initially, I was going to tell you that one of my best bets was going to be a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. over 1.5 total bases with a sprinkle on a home run, and, you know, like, he'll be the ALCS MVP, and you do all those things, right? But if I were the Seattle Mariners, I am not giving him anything to hit.
Yep.
Like, unless I'm forced to because the bases are loaded, I might be walking him 3 times tonight. Like, I am letting someone else that's not Vladimir Guerrero Jr. beat me tonight. It won't be Vladdy that beats me. So I think I'm going to stay away from all of his props tonight.
Shane Bieber and George Kirby on their respective hills today. This was the pitching matchup from Game 3 that ended up where we saw kind of the explosion of runs from Toronto, the 13-4 win. Kirby, 8.38 career ERA in 5 career appearances against the Blue Jays, 4 starts in that. It's the highest ERA all time of a team entering a winner-take-all playoff start. So some food for thought there. Bieber, meanwhile, allowed the 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts in Game 3 of the set. That was the second most strikeouts in any game this season. Kirby, of course, allowed 8 runs that game, and he gets the ball for the Mariners here. Was there anything from a pitching standpoint, whether you were looking at strikeouts or anything prop-wise, on either of those guys tonight?
Not a terribly strong feel on it, but what I will tell you is if you want to be involved in the pitcher market, I would take the over for both of them on their strikeouts. Both of these teams have a penchant for striking out, so I think the Kirby strikeout number was 3.5 and the Bieber number was 4.5. I would probably lean more towards Kirby. If you believe that the Mariners are going to bounce back and you believe that what Kirby was during the regular season is what he can be tonight, so I would go over on both of those. I would also just throw it out there as well with the Seattle Mariners. They played about as poorly as you could last night and still had their opportunities, right?
Yeah.
3 errors. They grounded into, 2 double plays with the bases loaded in a 6-2 loss in Game 6. Unless that happens again, this should be a close game. And again, I'm not really sure who wins this one. It's the reason I take the over. This feels to me like a 5-4 type of game coming down to the 9th inning.
Yeah, you mentioned grounding into those 3 double plays, one in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings. The first 2 came with the bases loaded to end their respective innings, too. So just a tough look to your point, and just missed opportunities, I think a great way to phrase it. Stormy Buonantony, Keith Irizarry with you here on Money Moves. And if you do want to join in on any of our conversation today, make sure you tweet at us, at Keith Irizarry, at Storm Buonantony, at VSiN Live. Let's shift gears here quickly, and we will come back to the ALCS a little bit later on in the show. But we did have some big college football news over the weekend as well, Keith. And this is one of those things where It seems like NFL Sundays, we've been getting a lot of college football head coaches fired, and it came to an end finally for Billy Napier in Florida, despite actually getting the win against Mississippi State this past weekend. You know, this has been a conversation that's been going on with the brass over there at Florida for a while to actually come down and make this decision. But what was your reaction to hearing the Napier news?
Do you like Domino's? Like, not the pizza, the game?
Oh, I do like the pizza. Domino's not as much, the game. But
All
the
right.
pizza, stuffed crust these days, wow, they're really doing it big. Go ahead.
Look at you. All right. So it's not actually the game of Domino's, but when you take Domino's when you're a child, right? Like, one is here and then one is here. For radio audience, I'm sorry, it's not working
To knock
for
them
you.
down?
And then one, yeah, they knock down, right? This is Domino's. This is what this is. James Franklin gets fired from Penn State. It allows Florida to know that they were probably going to fire Billy Napier at the end of the season anyway, to go, okay, they did it, now we can too. And I'm not a huge fire during the season guy unless you really, like, if Nick Saban was out there right now and you already spoke to him and he would take the job like immediately and you're afraid that someone else is going to take him in the offseason, sure, go get him. But there's not a lot of big names that will get hired like this minute. So essentially what you're doing in Penn State and with Florida is the fact that you're just being like, all right, we just don't want these two men to be leading our team anymore, and we'll worry about it in the offseason. So I don't really see the advantage. Some people were I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, you get a leg up and talking to other coaches. I don't know if you get that much of an advantage there, because let's be honest, and I know it's not legal because you can't tamper. Stormy, do we truly believe that no one from Florida in any facet has ever spoken to another coach to see if they'd be interested in coaching the Gators? I don't believe that.
Sure, yes. We know there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that aren't publicized or allowed to be spoken about. But that said, I think to an extent, it does give you at least ample time to figure out and gauge the names that you want to have on your board to ultimately make those decisions when the time does come. And for Florida, considering the gauntlet they do have the back end of the season, cut your losses now and see what's to come. You've got Georgia on deck, at Kentucky, maybe not as tough, but at Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State. That's an interesting thing right now. And I don't know if you saw the report that Florida State standing by Norvell. Interesting, all these Florida coaches having questions. If you remember, one of the conversation topic, I know after what happened at Stanford, come on, but one of the conversations earlier, like a month or two ago, was which Florida coach is going to be fired first between Mike McDaniel and Billy Napier. Napier ends up getting it first, but is Mike McDaniel on the way after what we saw yesterday? That was an ugly performance against a team that I don't think anybody is writing home about being amazing in the Cleveland Browns, and you had to pull Tua Tagovailoa, who couldn't do anything but turn over the football.
And an awkward post-game press conference from McDaniel as well. Like, it was weird. He looked uncomfortable. It felt like I thought we were going to wake up today to him being fired. I did. Like, that's the way that press conference felt. Like, he was told by somebody, hey, just so you know, you're gone. And then he was uncomfortable and didn't know what to say while he was up there. Clearly, he's still the coach as we sit here at 2:40 p.m. Eastern time. With all that, I think he's going to be gone. It's probably going to be one more loss, and then he'll be gone. The Tua thing's going to be interesting because they paid him a boatload of money, and I don't know what they can do with him. They're an organization in flux right now, and that's the worst place that you can be.
Yeah, I feel like wholesale sweeping changes are coming, right? Head coach, general manager, probably quarterback as well with what we've seen from Tua Tagovailoa. Like, I don't know if we've seen anything so far that said he's a guy that we really see a future with, especially when you do bring in a new regime. They're going to want their guy, and they're going to have opportunities in the draft if this season continues to spiral the way that it has. And then also, like, doubling down to some of the past things we've talked about with Tua Tagovailoa, he does still have the injury and concussion history. Now the leadership stuff is really coming into question. It is a fractured organization with a lot of problems right now. 31-6 loss for them yesterday to the Cleveland Browns. We've got to step aside when we come back. This Overreaction Monday rolls on. It's time for Call Me Crazy But next on Money Moves.
watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Football meets flavor with VSiN and Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks, the official sponsor of tailgating this football season. If you haven't tried their smash burgers, let me tell you, now's the time. They're built for the grill, pre-smashed, crafted from premium aged beef, and go from freezer to bun in just 5 minutes. Juicy, unforgettable flavor. Plus, as a VSiN exclusive right now, we're giving you 16 free smash burgers with any order of $129 or more on the website. 50% off site-wide as well at omahasteaks.com/VSiN. Again, omahasteaks.com/VSIN. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details, but get in there. It's tailgate season, baby.
Put on your tinfoil hats.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. The whole world gone crazy.
For Call Me Crazy, but
It is an overreaction Monday back here on Money Moves. Stormy Buonantony, Keith Irizarry with you. Time for Call Me Crazy, but. And let's jump right in here, Keith, because I am sick. I am tired. I am sick and tired of the Kansas City Chiefs, but call me crazy, but they're going to win the Super Bowl again. What are we doing? After the 0-2 start, they're 4-1. They're averaging nearly 30 points per game. They just demolished a division rival in the Vegas Raiders, outgaining them, by the way, 434-95. They had more first downs yesterday than the Raiders did total offensive plays, and they're getting their weapons back in an AFC that is questionable at best at the top. The Indianapolis Colts, yes, are awesome at the top of the conference right now, but want to hear the top of the standings, Keith? It's the Colts, the Patriots and Broncos at 5-2, the Bills and Steelers at 4-2, Chargers, Jags, and Chiefs all back to 4-3. Who of that list do you really trust? Meanwhile, Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, getting Rashee Rice back. They are the favorites to win the Super Bowl, and I think rightfully so. They're probably going to get there and do it again. My goodness.
I wish I could call you crazy, but actually just hear me out on one thing. Am I correct that the Chiefs, if the season were to end today, the Chiefs aren't even in the postseason, right?
Yes.
I don't even think they have a playoff spot right now. So what I find crazy is not what you're saying. It's the fact that the odds makers are making them the favorite to win the AFC, yet they haven't even, they don't have a playoff spot. With all of that, you look at this Kansas City team, top to bottom, I think it's very similar like the LA Dodgers. I think it's very similar to, Tampa Bay Lightning a couple of years ago. The regular season doesn't matter to them. They just want to get to the postseason and have their guys healthy at the end of the year. I don't think you're crazy. I think you might be right.
Ugh. I appreciate you not calling me crazy because you know how women love that, but it is just wild to think, and I'm annoyed about it as well, especially as a 49ers fan, knowing the head-to-head that we've had with this Chiefs team. Neither here nor there. Okay, hit me with your first call me crazy.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a married man. I would never call a woman crazy. So there you go.
Well done.
So call me crazy, but I think the Detroit Red Wings are for real. I'm going to go over to hockey really quick. They are currently the top team in the Atlantic. They actually have 2 goalies that can play in Gibson and Talbot. They have a youth movement. Sandin Pellikka looks like he might be the next great defensive player that can score, offensive defensive player. They have leaders in Dylan Larkin and Patrick Kane, and they're doing this mostly without Lucas Raymond. I'm not sure there's a great team in the Eastern Conference. The Red Wings are for real.
You don't think the undefeated Carolina Hurricanes are for real in the Eastern Conference, are a legitimate?
No, so they're for real. I'm not sure there's a great team in the East. I love Carolina, but we've seen them fall on their face in the postseason over the last couple of years, time and time again. And I'm not picking the Red Wings to win the Stanley Cup. But coming into the year, they were not a team that we all pegged to make the playoffs. Last year fell, 5 games out, late season swoon a little bit. Steve Yzerman's on the block. Like, will he get chopped? Are you going to bother? Is he going to continue to be a part of the organization? What can they do? It's very early. You're 6 games in. I get it. But a 5-game winning streak by this Red Wings team, they just look like they are for real. Maybe they'll just be an annoying team that'll sneak into the playoffs, but I think they're a playoff team.
Okay, plus 105 at DraftKings right now for the Red Wings to make the playoffs. I like the Lightning in the Atlantic Division, but 12-1 on the Red Wings if you think they are for real, and could get there atop the division as well. Let's keep it moving here on this Call Me Crazy Monday. Call me crazy, but is Diego Pavia for Heisman really live right now? He struck the pose in Vandy's huge statement win against LSU this weekend, which, by the way, has people asking, is Brian Kelly the new James Franklin? But one of just two Power 4 quarterbacks now with 1,500-plus pass yards and 400-plus rushing yards this season, 19 total touchdowns to just 4 picks. The opportunities down the road in the season are going to be real for him. But listen to this odds movement. He was as high as, I want to say, like 300 to 1 in preseason, because I know people that have those tickets in pocket. Tim Murray tweeted out the board on Friday where he was 50 to 1 at DraftKings. He was 12 to 1 when I wrote this out this morning. He's now plus 700 to win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, this one's crazy. I'm sorry. I'm not going to rock with you on this one.
Can't do it.
I think, no, I can't. So I think Heisman voters, a lot of times they look at what did you do against the best teams. Whether it's win or loss, you look at what you've done against the best teams. So in their loss to Alabama, 21 of 35, 198 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Those are kind of pedestrian numbers for a potential Heisman. In the win against South Carolina, and I don't want to hold it against him because they still scored 31 points, but 18 to 25, 177, 2 touchdowns. So in the 2 games against ranked opponents before LSU, it was average numbers. And then against LSU, 14 for 22, 160. I think he's a great story. I think Vanderbilt is a lot of fun, and I think they're going to be a fun team throughout the year. I'm going to say no.
I think that the adjustment is too much, but the reason I do think it could be live generally if he does continue to win games at this rate, because he is the reason that they win them, for one. And
That's
then for
fair.
two,
That's fair.
For two, the market is just so weird. And to your point, it's really reactionary as well. But listen to these names. Fernando Mendoza at Indiana is your favorite at plus 340. Ty Simpson, plus 350. Julian Sayin, 4 to 1. Then it's Pavia. Marcel Reed at A&M. Gunnar Stockton at Georgia. Dante Moore at Oregon. Like, all of these guys are going to have opportunities the last however many weeks of the season to have those statement moments, but it's so up in the air. This market is crazy. Okay, speaking, I mean, what a perfect thing to say in the Call Me Crazy But segment. But okay, hit me with another one for you.
Yeah, so call me crazy, but I think betting Matthew Stafford at 12 to 1 odds to be the league MVP is the play to make. Hear me out here. So the Rams are 5-2. Plus 58-point differential. Stafford has moved from 15 to 1 to 12 to 1. If you don't get in now after that London game and they get another win with him, another 3 or 4 touchdowns in a game, he's going to be in the single digits now. 3rd in the NFL in passing yardage. Did it without Puka Nacua, with a whole bunch of wide receivers, save for Devontae Adams, that you never even heard of. Leads the NFL with 17 touchdowns, 3rd in the NFL in passing yards per game. Matthew Stafford is live to be the league MVP.
I don't think you're crazy. And as I'm looking at the DraftKings odds board right now, 10 to 1. So people are firing on it.
It moved in the last 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying. So people are firing on it. We've talked a lot about Baker Mayfield the last few weeks. He's obviously become too short now at plus 320 to bet it. I think the most bettable names on the board right now are Stafford, to your point. And what do you can call me crazy, but can you give me a little Daniel Jones, the way he's been playing and leading this Colts offense? Still 22 to 1 on him.
Yeah. So the Daniel Jones thing.
It's the name that throws you off, not the performance this season. It's the name.
It is, and it's like Danny Dimes. I called him Danny Pennies. No, like Daniel Jones having a really nice season. Fine, but Jonathan Taylor is scoring touchdowns in bunches there. So I think that's going to be the issue, is that you have another Colt that is going to be top 10 MVP potentially if they continue this way. So that's where I would knock Daniel Jones down.
In the offensive player of the odds right now, Jonathan Taylor is even money. You have one more that I really, really like. So can you get it out for us real quickly?
Yeah, the New York Jets. I only see them getting 1 win this season. Call me crazy, but that's it. So you go to week 14 against the Dolphins. Yeah. Maybe a win against the Saints in week 15, but the Saints aren't as bad as everyone believes. The Jets don't do anything above average. Like, it's literally, there's nothing on this roster that screams above average. They don't even know who their QB is going to be. And really quickly, Bengals, Browns, Patriots, Ravens, Falcons. They're going to be 0-12 after 12 games. It's nuts.
The win total, like in season, set for the Jets right now is 3.5. The juice on the under, and it is juice to the under, minus 135. But if you think they're only going to get one win, bet that. Bet the plus 195 on them to be the fewest wins in the NFL right now. I know they have to battle that out with the Titans, but yeah, it has been ugly for the Jets to this point. I do not think you're crazy. Meanwhile, they fire Robert Saleh. The team gets worse. And how about what Saleh's doing for the 49ers defense right now?
That's my doppelganger.
That is. Oh my gosh. It is. You must get that a lot, actually, I bet.
I do.
We'll have to do a head-to-head comparison
All gas,
of
no
the
brakes.
two because it's good. We got to step aside. Kicking off hour 2 next on Money Moves.